So welcome everyone. My name is Kathy Mitchell. I am from Chinle, Arizona, Four Corners area, Canyon du Chat. This is a picture of my home here. And so the canyon is pretty much my backyard. So it's about a 5-minute drive from where I live. And so we are able to walk down. It's about a 2-mile hike down and you're able to see the view here. And so it's been a big part of my life, and it's been closed for a while now because of the shutdown, but recently has been opened back up. So it's a blessing to have that opportunity again to go down the canyon. So how we introduce ourselves in my culture is we have clans. And so these are my clans here. And so my name, where I'm from, my mother's clan, because we're a matrilineal culture. I'm from the Mini Goats clan, which is my mother's clan. My father's clan is Bitterwater. And my paternal grandfather is Cliff Dweller. And my paternal grandfather is the Big Water clan. And that's how I am a girl. So when we say it in Navajo, Kathy Mitchell Yinishia, Chile de Nasha, Lizaslana de Ne Nishle, Turatini de Ne Bashichin, Tinjakina de Ne Dashiche, Do Twatsotni de Ne Dashanala, at Ego at Ed Nishle. So that's kind of my translation of, and these are our identifiers. How we identify ourselves in our culture is who you're related to. So that is my introduction, how we would introduce ourselves at any gatherings. So this is my backyard when we had rain. This is about 2 years ago. So this is again pictures of down in the canyon, just so you can get a little view of what it's like. If any of you have ever been here? Okay, awesome. And so this is actually the bottom of the canyon as you're going down White House, and you see the entryway through the cave there. And this is the church I go to, Chinle Trinity Presbyterian Church, and it's located in Chinle, one of 3 churches that was here at the very beginning, the Catholic and also the LDS church. And so I am a 3rd generation Presbyterian. My grandparents were the translators for the first missionaries who came to Chinle. So I have memories of running from the translator's house to the church as a little girl. So that's how far back I can remember being a part of the Presbyterian church. And so any of you have ever been to our church, you know, it's this is the inside of our church here. And so very beautiful. I had some builders come one day and they said, "Can we look inside your church?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And they were like, you know, really in awe of the structure. And they said it's like an upside down ship. So I was like, "Oh, okay, never thought of it that way," but it's pretty amazing. And I'm always in awe when I go there. So, and here's our communion set, and also our Dene language here in the Bible. And so just a little preview of that, John 3:16 here. So a little bit more about myself. I'm currently a school counselor at Chinle Junior High School. I've been a teacher now for 26 years. I started when I was 12 years old, so I've been there for 26 years. And I've been in education pretty much my whole career. And I also teach college here for the local college, Navajo Technical University. And so I'm also doing that. I have 3 children. My oldest just graduated from ASU this past summer or spring. And I have 2, my son and my daughter are also in college as well. So I'm looking to adopt a dog someday soon because I'm gonna need it. But I welcome you this evening, and I hope that you will be able to take something away from my presentation here. And so the first thing we're going to do, because I want to get to know you and how you came to be here today and your journey. So we're going to do a quick icebreaker. Just quickly introduce yourself, your journey with environmental advocacy. What is your kind of, in a nutshell, and then your passion. What is something you're looking toward helping the environment? So I'm just going to call on people, and we will, try to do it that way. Try to do it quickly so that we can get everybody. And I want to get to know you as well. So Nan Fair. Hi, Nan.
Hi, thank you for calling on me.
You're the first one on my list here.
It's a pleasure to be at your workshop. I'm looking forward to it very much. I have been a part of Presbyterians for Earth Steering Committee for 6 years previously. Had a wonderful opportunity to go to Alaska. Gee, I see Diane Waddell on, how many years ago has that been? Maybe 8. And I have worked with a community organization. I'm in Maryland, in Howard County, Maryland, called the Earth Forum of Howard County, which was a regional gathering of people to study about the Earth and then to advocate, since we're very close to Washington, D.C. My current passion is I'm in a different community now and would hope to initiate a large tree planting project on the property of the retirement home where I now live.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Nan. Karen Meehan, is that right? I'm sorry if I get your names. If I mess up your names, I'm sorry in advance.
That's fine. It's my hand. I'm from New York, Cooperstown, New York, and I've always been interested in Native American peoples and problems, and wanted to hear what you had to say about what you're dealing with, because I think that many times the disenfranchised have the worst of it. So it's good to have the knowledge.
Oh, thank you so much. And I appreciate you coming, Karen. Kathy Sawyer. Kathy Sawyer. You're going to be surprised when I call your name, like The Price is Right. So just kind of be ready that you're, your mic.
You're muted, darling.
Oh no, I think she.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. I'm from Oakland, California, Montclair Presbyterian Church. My church became a Earth Care congregation this year. I have always loved the environment. I've been hiking since I could walk. And I'm part of the Earth Care committee at my church. And I'm also a co-chair of the Indigenous committee at my church.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. Sue Reiger.
I'm Sue Regier, and I'm the treasurer for Presbyterians for Earth Care. Been on the steering committee for, this is my 6th year, and part of PEC for at least 15. Spent 30 years working to make North Carolina state parks, make them bigger and make new ones. My Earth Care folks, we worked on coming up with a land dedication, and so I've learned that I am on the ancestral lands of the Saponi Occaneechi Native Americans.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Sue. Nancy Corson Carter.
Oh, that's perfect. Hello, I'm so glad to be here. Sue and I are from the same church, and we are both longtime members of Presbyterians for Earth Care. It really changed my life. I joined it in the late 90s. And I was moderator from 1997 to 2003, and I just keep on being connected with it. First, my husband and I were in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I led a group there in Earth Care, and now I'm doing it with Sue in North Carolina. And we are celebrating at our church for the third time Native American Sunday this year. And I would just say that when I was a teacher, I taught, as one of my favorite books, I did teach an introduction to Native American Lit. I wanted to learn. And one of my favorite books is Leslie Marmon Silko's Ceremony. And that's, I think, so much interwoven with the concerns about nuclear energy and everything and the way they've been mishandled. So I just wanted to, my husband is here with me and he has come to your area some. I just wanted him to say a word or so. Howard.
I was an advisor to the College of Ganado many years ago. It's changed its name, but I was able to help them with some of their programs. And we camped at the outflow of Canyon de Chelly under the cottonwood trees one year and saw the big monolith for the Spider Woman.
Yes, beautiful country. So we're glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Howard and Nancy. Jim Dunning?
Yes, my name is Jim Dunning. I'm a member of the First Presbyterian Church in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And I've been involved with the Earth Care group for 25 years now. I started at Ghost Ranch a long time ago. And my background, I spent 12 years working for the Ho-Chunk Nation, a tribe here in central Wisconsin, as their environmental specialist, and had, through the years, had contacts with many of the tribes throughout the country. I've been now I'm working within our church, part of the Earth Care group there, getting it set up. And I'm also part of our sustainability committee for our local county. And so we're trying to do that, and in the process of a building project that we hope to use geothermal and solar and EV vehicles, and all of that as part of our garage. I'm also working with a couple of other people here there with the Earth Care Presbyteries. So trying to get the presbyteries to be Earth Care groups. So that's kind of my background. So thank you. I've been involved with the environment for 30 years now. So
yeah, awesome. So thank you so much, Jim. Daryl Mully.
There we go. Thank you. You pronounced my name perfectly, darling. My journey with environmental advocacy. Well, I'm an aging hippie. I'm a Presbyterian aging hippie, and I've always believed in caring for the earth. And I remember recycling before you had curbside recycling, and I guess that felt like I was doing something. But so that's why I'm here, is to learn more. My passion in Earth Care Ministries has been ignited by these conferences, I must tell you. I went to a book study. We have a book club at my church, and we're studying this God and improv and the art of living or something like that. And after we were done, with our discussion about the book, I said, y'all, we need to get going. We need to get solar in our church right now. And we have 7 acres around us, and it's full of trees. If you want some trees, come get them. But so I'm thinking we're going to have to cut down some of the trees, because it seems to me that the urgency of releasing ourselves from fossil fuels is just something we cannot deny. And I am here to learn more, and I thank you so much for offering this for us, Kathy.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much, Daryl. Susie Smith?
Hi, I'm Susie Smith. I'm from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Chapel in the Pines Presbyterian Church. I got a passion for earth care way back when I was a wee one. I remember walking in a parade. I grew up in St. Louis, and walking in a parade with the Girl Scouts. I made the poster for the earth, caring for the earth back then. I've always loved the outdoors. Years ago, I think about 20 years ago, I served with the Amity Foundation through the Presbyterian Church USA in China. And I can remember then my teaching partner and I, we started on our campus, well, it was a college campus then. I started a little green team among the Chinese students there. They were it was a normal college, teaching college. But now in this area, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, one thing I'm doing, I am the unit chair for Churchwomen United, or the unit president for Churchwomen United in this area. And I'm hoping to start a tree planting project. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but that's my goal. And here at this church, I'm trying very, very hard to spread my passion for the earth here at my church, which is, we're trying to get that spark started. So that's what I have to say.
Awesome, great. Thank you, Susie. Paul Hines.
Hi, I'm Paul Hines, and I'm pastoring a church in Port Townsend, Washington State, which is at the northern opening of the Puget Sound. And I've lived in different parts of our country over the course of my life, and I've enjoyed very different experiences in Southern California and Hawaii and New Jersey, on the Jersey Shore, and in the mountains in Utah, and now here in the Puget Sound in Washington State. And each place I've enjoyed a unique relationship to creation and the outdoors. And over the course of my ministry in the churches that I've worked with, I've really developed a passion in walking with congregations and growing their relationship to an awareness and learning myself about the relationship that we have with creation and living as partners with creation. And I'm also on the steering committee with Presbyterians for Earth Care, and kind of growing in my awareness and knowledge, and hopefully contributing something to advocating and bringing people together around healing creation and making the changes that we need to make.
Awesome, great. Thank you, Paul. And raising awareness is so key to you being here today, even with me. So thank you so much. And Israel Nelson. Is your mic on? I think your mic is off.
There, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
I live in Wasilla, Alaska, where I'm watching the glaciers melt. Tomorrow is my 77th birthday. I'm retired from the Presbyterian ministry. I'm the only Iona community associate in Alaska. I've helped do a tour of environmental damage here in Alaska for members of our presbytery. We looked at permafrost melt, and saw the impact of the oil industry on the environment. Very concerned that we not release the North Slope to the oil companies.
Great. Thank you so much, Israel. Nancy James.
Hi, I'm with Trinity Presbyterian in Clearwater, Florida. And we are currently working on becoming an Earth Care congregation. We are getting our paperwork ready to submit the first of the year. Here in Florida, you've probably seen the pictures on the news of the dying fish because of the red tides. That's really concerning in this part of the area. My passion is making the earth better for my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and helping restore things the way they should be to creation.
Great. Thank you so much, Nancy. Sandra.
Hi. I retired from teaching in 1996. I taught elementary school and decided I wanted to get out and see what the real world was like. And I went to Ghost Ranch to that conference that someone talked about before. I was one of the first trained restoring creation enablers, and would go back to congregations and present everything I knew that I had learned there. But that was back in a time when people did not want to hear that. It was a really tough job. Then in 2000, I moved to Texas to be with my daughter, and I'm in Hondo, Texas, and there is not a Presbyterian church anywhere near. So I'm a homeless Presbyterian, and but I found the Texas Garden Club that were into environmentalism, and I was able to work with them. I got on the staff of the Lone Star Gardener, which is their publication, and I was able to write several articles on environmentalism. But then since the pandemic, I'm 83 years old and have some health issues, so I have been home for 2 years. And what I've done, my yard is a certified wildlife habitat. It's not a very big yard, but you'd be surprised at the wildlife I have in it. And I've just spent my time working in my garden and taking care of my own wildlife and making sure that we have a system that works and isn't poisoning things, but it's been an exciting adventure.
Oh, awesome. Great. Thank you, Karen. And I feel for your homeless Presbyterianism, because that's been a big part of my life as well. So thank you so much, Karen. I'm sorry, Sandra, sorry. Karen, I was looking at the next person, Karen Kudable. Okay,
that's really close. Karen Kudable.
Okay.
Yes, Denver, Colorado. I was for 25 years an environmental policy planner for the state of Colorado. And that was back in the days when we used to see humans as separate from the community of life. And my journey has been all about coming home to actually belonging to Earth. So for the past 20 years, I've availed myself a lot at Ghost Ranch. I spend a lot of time there. I actually work with some of the staff there to put on programs that are bringing our faith and Earth concerns together. And Larry Rasmussen used to have the Earth Honoring Faith series for 10 years, and I attended almost all of those. And so some of the work I'm doing is reflective of that passion. And I would say that Presbyterians for Earth Care, the first conference I went to was when we did a deep dive for 3 days with the indigenous people in the Columbia River Gorge, which was 4 years ago. And it was absolutely, absolutely amazing, beautiful, heart-opening, difficult, painful, and all the things that we absolutely need to look at. So I am so grateful, Kathy, that you are going to share with us, which I know is going to be pain and promise. And I just want to say that what I want for us is to embrace a sense of community lamentation. And out of that, and that was what was brought up earlier today, there's something about lamentation that opens the spring to hope. So I'll leave that there.
Oh, thank you so much, Karen. Diane Waddell.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. I did recognize your name, Israel, because I think you were part of the journey that Nan was talking about. Then Nancy and Howard and I also went to in Alaska, and I at that time when we all met Larry Mercury as an Indigenous wise person, I know we were all just so grateful for the wisdom that he shared with us. And certainly I am so grateful for the wisdom of the Indigenous persons who have taught us how to truly love creation. And I started some groups here locally in St. Joseph, Missouri, to help guide persons and think about environmental stewardship, particularly one based on Laudato Si. So thank you all.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Diane. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Diane.
Oh, thank you.
Betty Eidmiller.
Hi, Betty Eidmiller from Trinity Presbyterian in Northern Virginia. And our congregation has just started the work to become an Earth Care congregation. My academic training as a graduate student was ecology and evolutionary biology. And here we are, lived through the 70s and all our glorious plans and dreams to make the world a better place. And now I'm at this end of my lifespan and I'm thinking, as Nancy reflected, I don't really like what's being left behind for my grandkids. So not sure exactly where I'm going to dig in, but I think it's time to be digging in somewhere.
Yeah, thank you so much, Betty. Jim Turner.
Hi, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. I chair the Earth Care team of Westport Presbyterian Church. We're in our first year as a Earth Care congregation, certified. My history is in Sierra Club activism, especially focused on energy policy. Recently, I have become very much concerned about the need to regenerate soil, realizing that, or becoming informed that we have just a few decades left of capacity to raise food if we don't start regenerating our soil, which has really been beat down by industrial agriculture, which really degrades the microorganism community of the soil. And because of that, not only is the food raising capacity much diminished, but furthermore, the soil is much less capable of holding water. And because of that, the ability of the water cycle to cool the earth is much diminished. When there is plentiful water in the soil, transpiration will cool the earth's surface. The heat is taken up to the high atmosphere where rain forms, and that releases heat to go on out into outer space. So with my team here, we are giving attention to how to encourage a culture of soil regeneration. And one way to do that is by something called a bioreactor, which can nurture which can produce tea that will help regenerate the soil. And I'm hoping that we can, by various means, with the help of various allies, hopefully, hope that we can encourage the Parks Department to begin improving their soil in this way. And in this way, perhaps we can help to create a culture which will encourage more farmers to do the same thing with their larger acreages. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Jim. And the soil is such a big important part of what we do every day as well. And erosion of that has been a problem here on the Navajo Nation as well. So Eileen Best.
Hi, I'm Eileen Best from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I was also at that first conference that's been mentioned a couple times in Ghost Ranch in 1996. So I've been at this a long time. Right now I'm involved with a local interfaith group called Hope for Creation that works together with lots of different organizations to coordinate our efforts here in our area. And my particular passion right now, one is regenerating soil. I'm a gardener, but another is encouraging people to eat plant-based as one of the most effective ways to care for creation and reduce our footprint.
Yes, lifestyle change for sure. Sue is it Sue Wagner? Sue Wagner?
Yeah, it's me. Hi. I'm a member of First Presbyterian Church in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Work with Jim Dunning, and we are an Earth Care congregation. And I'm also part of environmental task group, which is, it's part of JONA, which is stands for Joining Our Neighbors Advancing Hope, but it's grassroots, it's social justice, involved in a lot of social justice issues. And boy, I'm just really motivated and energized, and I came to learn, and I've learned so much the last 3 Sundays, and I'm just amazed and feel just so privileged to be around so many people who care so passionately about our environment. I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin enjoying 4 seasons and spent every minute out of doors. We didn't get to sit around watching TV. I'm 73, so I grew up in the 50s, and yeah, things are changing. But it's interesting. My 2 grandkids are 5 and 7, and they live in Arizona. So I'm trying to learn more about that state, and when I'm with them, experience things with them and help them to appreciate what they have. And both their parents are very involved in that. So move onward, do as much as I can.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Sue. Sandy, I'm going to mess this one up. Slodicker? Slodicker?
Sorry about that. Schlaudecker, you got it. I'm from Blacksburg, Virginia, Blacksburg Presbyterian Church. My passion has been fighting a fracked gas pipeline, Mountain Valley Pipeline, that has been going through our community, not too far from my home. Our church is a certified creation care church, and I've just been an environmentalist for quite a while. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Moving on here. Bob Daniker. Your mic, I think, is off.
Sorry. I'm in Owego in upstate New York. Been interested in environmental issues since I was a kid. Member of a local environmental organization called RAFT. And my passion is renewable energy. So interested in learning anything about that.
All right. Thank you so much. Rob?
Sorry, hi, I'm Tama Eller. That's my husband's name. I don't know how to get that off my Zoom thing. My journey, I'll just be really fast. I attended Presbyterian camp growing up, and that was probably my biggest influence about the environment, spending summers hiking and canoeing and that kind of thing. And also my dad, he's a naturalist type person. He taught me a lot about gentleness and with wildlife and appreciation of the earth. So my passion now is teaching about what the scriptures say about taking care of the environment. So I do that. I really enjoy talking to people about what the different scriptures are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Carla Cole.
Hey, yes, I'm Carla Cole. I serve as a mission co-worker for the PCUSA at the Latin American Biblical University in San Jose, Costa Rica. I actually have a degree in environmental sciences before I started studying theology. And I wrote one of my exams for my bachelor's degree on uranium mining on the Navajo Nation. So I'm really interested in catching up with the story I learned a little bit about years ago. We are committed as a university to we dream of becoming a model for urban ecological sustainability. And I have just finished a course on climate justice with students from 4 different countries in Latin America. It's wonderful to be here with you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Carla. And I know Carla from a mission trip I went to Costa Rica. So it's been 4 years. So thank you so much, Carla, for being with us. Daryl Molly. Karen Meehan.
I already spoke.
Okay, sorry. Mark Eakin.
Yes, Mark Aiken. I am now retired oceanographer with NOAA, having worked with coral reefs and climate change for over 30 years. Some of you may be familiar with the film I was involved with, Chasing Coral, that's available on Netflix. And our church, Warner Memorial Presbyterian in Kensington, Maryland, we've had an environmental stewardship team before Earth Care Congregation started. We've now gone through the 10 years as a Earth Care congregation. And the real passion that I have at this point, beyond just simply continuing to get the word out on the importance of climate change and moving to renewables, is driving electric, how we can practically switch to electric vehicles at this time.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, great, thank you, Mark. Lynn West.
Hi, I'm Lynn West. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm from New York City, and the original inhabitants of the land were the Munsee Lenape and the Wappinger. I was ordained as a Presbyterian minister in 1996 to a ministry of environmental justice. Like others on this call, I attended the PEC conference at Ghost Ranch in 1996. And there I went to the training for what was called at the time a Restoring Creation Enabler. I was ordained to work at the National Council of Churches in the Environmental Justice Office, and we worked with the National Religious Partnership of the Environment. For about the last 10 years, I've been coming to Ghost Ranch at least once a year. In 2015, I attended the Presbyterian Women's Gathering and went to a talk by June Lorenzo on Indigenous land issues. At this point in time, I'm doing supply preaching, and I like to give people in my sermons things that they can actually do at the individual, congregational, and societal level. I'm interested in environmental racism and environmental justice and climate change issues.
Great, thank you so much. Leslie?
Hi, everybody. I'm Leslie Lanphier. I'm from the, I'm on the ancestral lands of the Lanai Lenape. If you notice that similarity, that means I'm down here in New Jersey, so just south. This is my first PEC conference, so I've not been to any others. My journal with environmental advocacy probably started with my grandparents, like just teaching me and my family, just teaching me to love the environment, and just seeing what we're losing. Just, you know, it angers me and it saddens me, but it also makes me so grateful to be here with everybody and all of you to share in that. And then similar to Susie Smith, you know, I'm trying to bring that into our congregation and to kind of find what spark that works. I think I'm going to try very much with the picture inspired. I think I'm going to try the Jersey Shore thing, and you know, particularly with the news about the Gulf Stream, that's just kind of we won't go down that path. So I won't go into a period of despair on that. But thank you so much, Kathy, for being here. I know a tiny little bit about this, and I'm so excited to learn more. So
Great.
thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pat Laws. I think I have a couple more people.
Yes, I'm with the La Mesa Presbyterian Church in Albuquerque, and we have an Earth Care Congregation Stewardship Committee, and I'm a brand new member of that committee, so I'm just here to learn as much as I can. I'm not at a point where I can define my passions. I'm certainly concerned about water and soil and just the environment in general. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, And Delzell. That's right. Okay. Anybody that I did not get? Lynn wrote in the chat that she's lived most of her life in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and New York. Nature is part of my soul. Belong to an organization against fracking in New York. Very eager to be with people who can find hope and work to save our world and all. Wow. So anybody that I did not get, I did not purposely do that. So hopefully speak now and let us get to know who you are. And anybody? Going once, going twice. So thank you again. I know that takes a while to, Sue, are you there? Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Sue. Anybody that did not get a chance to introduce, because I really, part of my job is getting to know people. And, anytime you start building that relationship, it takes time. And so, hearing a lot of your journeys and your passion is so key to why we do what we do. And so overwhelmingly listening to many of your conversations, basically what am I taking care of what's been entrusted to us, but also what am I leaving behind for my grandchildren? And so that's something that is also, I hear a lot of, my daughter is, I used to be a mentor for students. And so I mentored students when I was, and we used to go out and do trash community cleanup. And I would make my kids go and make them go, that they didn't want to go, but I made them go. And so now that she's in college, she says, Mom, you doing that was a good thing because it made me see that how the environment is and what we can do. So I'm glad that I was part of her seeing that and being that person that today is interested in environmental science. And so that's kind of where my helping them to see that as well is also important. So thank you, each of you, for sharing your passion with us today, and so many, a varied variety of people. And so a little bit of the background, and there's so many things to this that are very, and I can email the PowerPoint so that you can watch and see. If we have time for the video, we'll go back and watch that. But so the background on uranium mining on the Navajo Nation, for about 40 years, there were 30 million tons of uranium ore that were extracted from Navajo lands under leases with the Navajo Nation. And so a big part of, a big part of when, at the time, we were thinking about people who didn't really have a lot of opportunities. And so Indigenous people of color. And so when these jobs came about, they jumped on it. And so, many of these jobs were near where they lived, and kind of that boom of uranium and what uranium could do and what uranium can still do today. And so many Navajo people worked in the mines, often living and raising families in close proximity to the mines and mills. And how, this number, today there are 500 abandoned uranium mines, as well as homes and water sources with elevated levels of radiation, causing health concerns from inhalation and contamination. And when that contamination seeps into the groundwater or into the earth, that causes a myriad of other issues. And so when I first became aware, not really, I've lived here all my life. And so when this issue came up to me, I had a woman visit my office at school counselor, and she wanted to recruit young people to be interested in science. And so she had come to my school at the time and talked to me about wanting to do a presentation for our 7th and 8th graders. And I said, yeah, that would be a good idea. And I welcomed, so in awe of her for 3 things, because she was a Native American woman, she was an environmental engineer, and she was Navajo. And I was like, wow, this woman is awesome. She's a triple threat, So I was really excited to be in her presence because I was pretty much in awe of who she had become as a Native woman. And so I was really wanted her to come and talk to our students because she's like our students. You know, she's a lot of the similarities and kind of giving them hope of these things that they could do if they wanted to. And so when I first met her and we had sat down and talked, and I said, you know, and me being, you know, not really aware of this issues, I said, well, how many uranium mines are there that are abandoned? And she says, well, I said, I'm thinking like 30. And she's like, there are like 500. And I was like, wow, I was really, really taken aback in how that impacts us today, and what is the legacy of those disparities that have happened to our people. And so, and recently thinking about how the EPA has entered enforcement agreements and settlements valued at 1.7 billion to reduce the highest risk of radiation exposure to the Navajo people from abandoned uranium mines. And so there's a video on here that that we can show. If we have time, we can go back to it. But just an expose on one of the leaks that have happened with the uranium mines that didn't really get a lot of coverage. And so that was something that also was eye-opening as well. So we are going to go to the next slide. Food for thought. If you don't have a seat at the table, you're probably on the menu. And so thinking about this, and some of you gasped, and you know, it shocks you, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is kind of where we step in as Indigenous people, because if you're not at the table, you're up for discussion. And so, and this is very poignant to me because I feel like there are a lot of things that Indigenous people around the world, not just me, myself being Navajo, living on a Navajo nation, but all over the world, who have been disenfranchised disproportionately in so many areas. And so when we think of this, you know, one of the big things that have happened to Native Americans is the election of Native American leaders into United States government. And so I was so happy to see that, so happy to have someone, and seeing Deb Holland's confirmation was just, I was like watching and so happy for her, and really kind of seeing her responses to those questions that were asked. And so that to me was a very big, you know, applaud for our people to have someone finally, after so many years, be part of the process. And so it's been such a long time coming for that in that area as well. So, but when we think along these lines of Indigenous people and how the effects of environmental issues have impacted them, not just, you know, one round, but many, so many. And when I went to Costa Rica and visited with Carla down there, you know, it was an eye-opening experience that many Indigenous people are going through, different types of resources that the earth provides that are being taken advantage of. And so it was an eye-opening and heart-wrenching experience. And to go there, and, you know, I was the only Indigenous person from North America to go, but it was very, I related to them so much because I know what it feels like to be an Indigenous person and to be in that area, in that space. And so I felt like I had, you know, found a relative that I had not seen in a long time, and they were also able to resonate with me as well. And so I felt that that was my purpose for going there and seeing that and connecting with other people who have those kinds of issues as well. So now we come to 5 things to know about communities of color and environmental justice. And this, I'm probably preaching to the choir here. And so thinking about how these affect other communities as well. They have higher rates of air pollution. Landfills and hazardous waste sites and other industrial facilities are most often located in communities of color. Lead poisoning disproportionately affects children of color. Climate change disproportionately affects low-income communities and communities of color. And water contamination plagues low-income areas and communities of color across the nation. And so again, this is part of the issues that we have come across with the contamination or the tailings that have been left behind by the abandoned uranium mines that were not cleaned, and how that seeps into the water where it is undrinkable and for people and their livestock. Livestock is a big thing here with our people, so they have to have the water. Water is going to be a big issue, right? Coming soon. So historical trauma, and this is a big one for me because I think that as an Indigenous person, we have gone through a lot of historical trauma, and this is kind of as a Indigenous person and someone who is coming to you and understanding where I'm coming from and looking at it through my lens as an Indigenous person. And so long-lasting effects from forced removal from home to boarding schools. And so that's been a part of our legacy as well. It's not too far off. My parents, one generation away, both my parents went to boarding schools when they were children. And so that's been something that has been part of my life. And then the forced assimilation, not being able to speak their language. And even today, we still feel that. It's not many of our people know how to speak Navajo. I know a little bit, but again, every generation, it kind of moves further away. And so that's something that has been part of my life, part of what makes me me. And so, and there's a connection there that is, it's almost like you have a missing piece of the puzzle in a sense. And I'm very thankful that I accept myself, you know, my limitations, not being able to speak Navajo, that it's been a part of me accepting who I am. And so, but that's also a part of something that has happened in our past as well. And so, and also part of it is our reservation lifestyle here, being kind of confined to one area. And there is still systemic racism within that environment as well. We have border towns or places on the edges of the reservation where we go to shop. And so off the reservation, you know, where those towns are. And so we don't have very much here as far as what is available on the Navajo Nation, 27,000 square miles. And so I think we have, last count was like 13 supermarkets within the whole area. And so that's a harsh reality, but one of the other things that's also important is in those border towns, there's also racism in the border towns. And so, you know, being exacerbated by what we're going through right now as far as, you know, COVID and pandemic, and has been a big part of our life. The nearest town that we go to, the nearest Walmart, you'll say, is about an hour and a half away, or 90 miles. And so that's how generations have done it before. They would get on the wagon and they would go to Gallup, and that's a 90-mile journey. And so, and kind of having those opportunities is so key, economic opportunities as well. And I have told people that Gallup, we've made millionaires of people in Gallup because we all go there to shop. And, you know, if I have $200 in my pocket and I go off the reservation and spend $150, I come back with $50, and you know, there's nothing flowing within the Navajo Nation as far as economic flow. And so that's also been always been a challenge. And then the emotional and psychological stress and mental health issues that go along with all these different parts, the environment and the economics and the long walk that was also a big part of our history, being forced to leave. Our canyon is a refuge for, back in the day, for many people. I have a pastor who lives in one of the canyon, or near one of the canyons, and one day we went for Easter service and he says, you see that rock over there? And he was showing us the rock, and he said they used to climb up the rock when they needed protection, and they would take the ladder, climb up the rock, and then they would pull the ladder up, and that was their refuge. And that was such a story for me to remember, that was something that long ago they would do. And so having that, stories that we would tell, and the oral history of that place as well. And again, as always, environmental issues and clean water. And I think many of you have mentioned that is also an issue that will be coming up. And public health issues, disproportionately as far as Indigenous people having different health concerns, has also been a big part of our struggle. And then legislation with all the different issues, again, with the mining and the EPA, and coming to terms with all of those issues that will be coming in the near future, the 10-year plan, as they call it. And then lastly, our culture and tradition, which are a big part of who we are as Indigenous people. It's what identifies us, and that's kind of lost in the myriad of things that it's our strength. So in school counseling, we call it protective factor. And so a protective factor is the things that will see you through the hard times. And so that's one of the things, culture, and that also comes with a big, a little bit of a, how would you say, because I am a Christian, how does that work in my culture and my tradition? So there's a duality there. There is a struggle there. And so that's something that myself as an Indigenous person is something that I kind of fluidly walk back and forth in. And that's always been a challenge for me. So let's see. Oh, so one of the, like I said, my daughter was studying environmental science with Dene College here, a local college. It's about 30 miles away. And so they do have a uranium education program there. So if you're interested in learning more about that, the college offers a program related to that. Perry H. Charlie has the uranium education program. And so he has also been personally affected by the uranium mines. And so he has a story that, and I'll give you the more information on the resources part of that. So, and I will definitely email you my PowerPoint. So through Perry Charlie's recommendations, through his recommendations to Google Navajo Nation 10-year uranium cleanup plan. And so that is something that has come about recently. Cove, New Mexico is a place that has really been a lot of uranium mines, abandoned uranium mines there. And so that's a big part. It's about a 40-minute drive from here. So within the vicinity as well of Chinle. And then his book recommendation, Yellow Dirt, is a book recommendation if you would want to read about more on the uranium mine and the disproportionate reality for Indigenous people. And his article here, he was actually written in an article, the sciencehistory.org, and I've included that as part of, if you want to read more about Perry Charlie, he is also in that article as well. Okay, so now we come to the healing part. because the healing part is so, so important. And I think that's a big part of what I would, you know, we come to a different place now. You know, I'm so thankful for Joe Randolph for giving me the opportunity to be with you this evening. And Joe and I were part of the mission trip to Guatemala and Costa Rica. And so she was the one that invited me to come and speak. And so I'm so thankful for the opportunity, because life for Indigenous person is all about opportunity. How do we get those opportunities, and how do we take advantage of what's available to us? And so when we think along those lines and think about our journey here today, and all of you have shared your passion, which is so, so important, because passion for Christ, passion for the earth, those are some of the most important things that make us, that help us do what we do on a daily basis. And so I have been a part of this toward right relationships with Native peoples. One of the things that has changed as far as the repudiation of the doctrine of discovery has been creating those relationships with Native peoples and recognizing the land that we are on. And so this is a workshop that I have been a part of. And so it's, to me, I've done it twice. It's called a blanket exercise. If any of you have ever done it, it's such a profound, even for me as an Indigenous person, going through it twice, each time it was profound for me. So I invite you, if you're interested in that, that's something that will help to heal, a healing process as well. And so if you're interested in that, I highly recommend that. And then at the bottom here, I have the toward right relationships with Native peoples, the doables, things that can be done. And actually one of the doables on there was to have Native speakers speak on their behalf, and giving them that platform, giving them a seat at the table. And I am humbled by each of you, because your work that you have done so far, and the great work that you've done, and the care that it takes to be where you are, and the passion that you have. So I'm so thankful for your insight and your continued service for care of the earth in any capacity that you have. And I've took notes on some of the things that you've said, and I'm gonna read up on and look at those things. And I'm so thankful that we had a chance to meet today and talk about those things. So questions, and if you have any questions, you can ask. And this is actually, I took all these pictures that are on here, so. But if anyone's had any questions.
I would like to know, what could congregations and individuals do to be in solidarity with this work?
Oh my gosh. Writing letters would be, a good thing to be able to advocate for people. And there are still many people that the cleaning has just started. And so that's a big part of what we are looking at, and helping to provide. When the woman from Tetra Tech came to talk to me, the Navajo woman, and she was saying that part of the grant was that they had to hire people, Indigenous people. And so, and she said when she went to look for people to hire, they were not available. And that's why she came to the school. She wanted more students to be interested in science, technology, engineering, and math. And that's why she came. So really understanding that that is a big part of the need for our own people to go out there and be the problem solvers as well. And so that is something that is always needed. So thank you so much for that. Any other questions?
Well, this is Nancy, Kathy. I just read in the New York Times Magazine an article by Winona LaDuke, and she said, I'm really disappointed in the president because he didn't help us stop that Line 3 pipeline. And I'm just sort of wondering, what ways should we write to the president? Should we, express ourselves? I mean, we had a pipeline that we did writing about in North Carolina, the Atlantic Coast Pipeline. And I went to Washington and marched against the one that came from the lands up in Canada. It just seems like we really need to stop those pipelines wherever they are, and it's disturbing to learn that one, which is so much in native lands and in the headwaters of the Mississippi and all. So, your advice.
Advocacy is such an important thing, and to be able to, be with the people, because that's something that, if you can or can't, that's but to know that you are concerned, to know that you and even I think a lot of people here have also said that how can we move away from this type of energy into a new way of looking at things.
Right.
And so, introducing new ways of energy to people. And I think that that's understanding that it can be done.
Yeah.
Understanding that teaching people about it, the knowledge, educating people is so important. I'm part of a nonprofit, and we are going to be working with a group from Colorado, and we are going to be installing solar flashlights in some homes that don't have electricity. And so we are on board to do that for September.
Wow.
And so, yeah, and so it's just a panel, and they can charge the flashlight, and the cool thing is they can also charge the cell phone. So a lot of times, that's an issue.
Sure.
So teaching, then that's just a little bit of teaching someone how solar energy can be used in that way. So educating people about those different types of energy is also important. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Looking at the chat here.
Just to note, we have about 6 minutes.
Okay. How many of you are interested in emailing or would like a copy of the PowerPoint? Because I can give it to the, okay, cool. And the video is on there, the video that we didn't get a chance to watch at the very beginning. So that video is on there. So it's a 12-minute video. We ran out of time, so hopefully you'll get a chance to watch it as well. And that